some of this money could be sent to other schools that can't play. I mean, there would have to be some sort of agreement reached. And either way, I think it's really important to point out once again that fans are essential in all of this. And it's not just fans like regular people like us that go sit in the seats. We're talking about major boosters and donors who buy these boxes at these stadiums. We're talking millions of dollars here that need to be given to these schools in order for the universities to continue to function, in order for other sports to continue to be played. I mean, we've thrown out this number before, Greeny. It's over $4 billion. I wanted to say trillion. $4 billion at stake here amongst just the public universities and Power 5 conferences. So it's a crazy amount of money. And that, I think, more than anything with these conference commissioners, they're thinking, how can they do this and have fans at least part of the season in some way, shape, or form?
What do you think, Marcus? Go ahead, jump in here.
Well, you think about everything that Laura and Des just said, and it makes sense. And I'm still of the point that even if fans can't enter the stadium, they still are going to play games. And now talking about the number of teams in each conference that are available to play, I think it's going to be somewhere around 80%, 20%. If 80% of your schools can play, then you're going to play a season. And this is, look, we all work in television. We know how much money television produces for football. We know how much the media and the advertisement and all of these things create opportunities, not only for these schools, but for people outside of these schools, the communities around these schools. Even if people can't be in the stands, I guarantee you they'll still show up to the cities. They'll still show up to places of business that possibly will be open in and around games. So I just believe that there is too much money that will be lost outside of the fact that fans can't enter the stadium for them not to play football if there's an opportunity to put games on television and play games without fans in the stands.
So it comes down to money again. Desmond, quickly, if I could here, how about the notion of some sort of a delay? People Laura has brought up the notion, and others have, about them pushing the season so far back that it would start to interfere with next year. Well, what's realistic there? Like, when could you potentially finish one season that you would now be jeopardizing the start of the next one in your mind as a former player?
I would hesitate, as a former player, I would hesitate to play any season that starts in the spring, because look at it this way. Let's just say you're looking at Trevor Lawrence. He's projected to be a first-round draft pick, right? Maybe the first player taken in the draft. If you're talking about pushing it so far back that you go in the spring, and now this guy is in a situation where, why am I going to play in the spring when the draft is in April? What is it going to benefit me to play football in the spring when my status is already cemented with these NFL scouts? They know who I am. They know what I can do. And you're going to have a lot of players who will look at it from a business standpoint, meaning, why would I play spring football if the homework says right now that I'm a first or second round pick? Because it can only jeopardize my status. I don't have to go out there and prove myself anymore. So you're dealing with a situation like that, in my opinion, Greeny, if you push it back to the spring.
Laura, what do you think here? Phil, in the final moment here, what are we missing here as far as the scheduling and all of this?
Yeah, I think the spring model is something that people still say that's down the road. They're hoping that if anything, they can at least try and start the season on a delayed start. I've recently heard an October model that's floating around there and gaining a little bit of steam amongst these people discussing, which would be a shortened season, but would still be at least within the parameters of what we've heard. And they're still trying to start on time. I mean, that is the main goal, and they're trying to be unified in all of it, but it just may not be realistic. So the October start date is another thing to watch. The big concern there, as we all know, is would there be a resurgence of the virus? And that may be something that they just can't control either way. It's obviously something they can't control either way, but they're hoping that October could maybe even buy them a little bit of time for testing and things of that nature as well. What
an extraordinary note. Hembo just popped up there. It's almost 150 years since the last time we had a year without a college football champion. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.